Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the match preview. Everton versus Leeds United, Goodison Park, Saturday 3 o'clock. In simply what is a must-win game for Everton. 17 matches to go this season. Everton in a very precarious situation, and it's a must-win game as far as I'm concerned, Baz.
You are. Yeah, you're nailing that, aren't you? No, it's a the other week it was, we've got half a season to go, and there's 18 games to go, and now there's 7, so we've lost 4 games on the run, and it has to stop this weekend. It's a hugely difficult fixture. They run around like loons. They're so dangerous. They're wide open as well. Watch them at Villa, they give you chances, but they work so hard, they never ever give up, and it's going to be a hugely difficult game. But we've got to use the crowd and everything, because you're right, we've got to simply start getting points.
Yeah, listen, the reason I'm making that point is I keep on seeing people say we've got 17 games to go and it'll be fine and this. It has to start somewhere, doesn't it? And the losing run has to end somewhere. And I think what we all need is look at last Saturday, the feel-good factor that we got off beating Brentford. Everyone felt, so much better. Everyone felt like there was hope going forward. Then you go to Newcastle and suddenly you're back on the floor again, injuries and losing the game in a way that we did to a team that were just below us. Now we're playing a team that are just above us. We have to start winning games of football. We keep looking round, looking at other people's results, going, "Oh, I hope they don't win. I hope they don't win." That doesn't matter if we win our games.
Yeah.
And if we can bring a Leeds into it, if we can bring a Brentford into it, and drag them into the mix. Because that's what Newcastle are going to try and do. That's what Norwich are going to try and do. That's what Watford and Burnley would want to dream of doing. We've got an opportunity with 17 games left to get ourselves out of that. But it doesn't happen by just saying it.
No.
It doesn't happen by just saying we've got 17 games to go. We have to actually start winning games of football. If we want to be truly safe, we have to win a third of our games. Now, this is a team that has won 1 since since October. So we have to start really affecting things. Because as you just said there, you don't win this game, then you have to get 6 wins out of 16 games. And then the next game is Southampton away, and then it's Tottenham, and then it's Man City. And then suddenly you're going, "Oh my God, we've got to get 6 wins from 14 games." And that's what I'm saying. There has to be a realisation that it has to start somewhere, and it has to start now. And for me, that means that ultimately there's got to be an agency, and the agency's got to come from the fans. We know this. We've heard there's a lot of people talking about it already. Saturday has to become an absolute bear pit at Goodison. It has to be, the atmosphere has to be intense. We have to get on the Leeds players' backs. We have to back the Everton players. We really have to make it intense so that they start making mistakes. And our players hopefully can flourish into it, and hopefully what that says as well is that sets the tone that our players start feeling that when they're playing at home they're going to be backed. And listen, if the result doesn't necessarily go the way we want it on Saturday, but we see the desire and we see the effort and it's something we can get behind, then let's make it feel at least like our players feel at home, comfortable, like they were against Brentford, and relaxed, and go into, play the game in a more relaxed nature that leads you to score a few goals. And that's really something I can't overemphasise, is that we have to understand the urgency of the situation now and start getting those wins. And obviously for me that starts on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of it, even though I do look at it and go, try to look at the big picture and have some perspective, because sometimes I think it happened to a certain extent the other night. Everything was put on it, almost like this is all or nothing now. If we don't get something, Newcastle we're down. And it isn't the case, but you're absolutely right. You have to start somewhere, because each week that goes by, the window for error gets smaller and smaller and smaller. We all want to get wins quickly so that we can breathe, and go, right, okay, because we want to look forward. But we do have to, on the back of that, we do have to keep a little bit of perspective and say that the manager's only been in a week. Got to give him time to understand these players. The coaching staff, there's a temptation to go, We've won one game since October. It's absolutely 25th of September, wasn't it? Won one league game, and that is fact. These players, albeit different players and be injuries, but that's the fact. That's what's in front of us. But this coaching staff and manager haven't only won one game since then. So there's new things that they've got to look. There's things they might be able to bring out that gets us a bit more points. But ultimately, when they cross the white line, those players have got to stand up and be confident. Do you want to be part of history by taking this team down and having your name on it? 68 years, I think. Do you want to be in that team? When these players, if they played to their full potential, would be more than good enough to keep Everton safe, easily. However, it's easy being technically great. It's great being boss and training Monday to Friday. If you can't do it on a Saturday, then maybe you're not that good at all. Maybe you are relegation fodder. So it's up to them now. We've got to play our part, and we will. And I think I don't trust them players on their own. I don't trust that they've got the mental fortitude to drag us out of trouble. So it is going to be on us. We've got 9 home games. For me, 6 of them are very winnable. Doesn't mean they're easy, because they're not. Saturday will be anything but easy. But the winnable games, and what I mean, any game, people look at any game's winnable, of course it is. But 9 home games should put all of your future in your own hands. You know, when if Everton, Everton can really pick up the home form, and it hasn't been great in these last 12 months, but we have to start it somewhere, and the fans will have to help to do that. But the players have got to go out now and realise that you can't keep, I think what you're saying is we can't keep putting it off, going, well, by the middle of March we'll be all right. We've got to go now. Get the win now. Like you say, pull Leeds closer to us, pull Brentford closer to us, move away from Norwich and Burnley and go, right, go to Southampton next week, can we get something there? And that's what you have to start doing. But continuing game by game, losing. You know, 4 defeats on the run. And I went into those 4 games looking, going, we can get ourselves into a good position after these 4 games where we can breathe. And we've lost all 4 of them. You know, and they don't get it any easier. So it's now what it is, a case of now or never. Start now, put the foundations in now that are going to carry you through for the rest of the season and carry you to be able to get to the summer and go, we're still a Premier League team. And allow Frank Lampard and his coaching staff to go, right now we can plan.
Yeah, because in the long term, I like, you know, what Frank Lampard and his coaching staff are going to be putting across is obviously a different message, and doing things slightly different, and that will take time. We saw that from the weekend in Tuesday's game. At the weekend, when he wanted to play the football, it worked because Brentford didn't put us under pressure. But then suddenly, under Newcastle, he did put under pressure. You could see the mistakes. The mistakes were happening by trying to play it round. So you've got to keep the philosophy what you want to play. But it's the other side of the game for me. You know, when a new manager comes in, you expect a bounce. You expect to get some kind of bounce, and that comes from a freshness, that comes from new ideas, that comes from a new perspective. And we've got to gather that bounce, not just the one game in the FA Cup, that has to start in the Premier League. Because otherwise, as I said, we're going to put ourselves in more and more pressure. And that means Saturday. It means, we know what Leeds are going to do. They're going to work hard. They're going to 100 miles an hour stuff, you know. Dan James was playing up front for them against Villa.
And look good.
So it's a little bit something different. He's going to stretch them with his pace, and you know they're going to be 100 miles an hour. So we've got to match that. And we've got to be clever, and then we've got to expose the gaps that they'll leave, which they do leave. You know, they're only 4 points above us. They're only just above us in the table. It's not like they're absolutely flying. But you know you've got to match them, and you know you've got to be up for it. And as I said, that's where I think, you know, a positive crowd on Saturday would make such a huge difference. Is the fact that players will feel a little bit more. Hopefully, they'll feel a little bit more relaxed. But as I said, the stakes are huge, and Everton have got to start understanding. Don't get me wrong. I think the manager understands. You know, he said it himself. Everton are, you know, in a relegation battle, because we are. But we've got to start reacting within games to the situations that are going on within the games. And I find that almost the biggest crime of these players is what they lack, you know, technically, which a lot of them do. So, you know, you can make up for that in having you know, reading the situation of the game and understanding where you're being maybe pulled apart in the game, or where you're not working as hard as the opposition, and step it up. And that's where leaders and characters and, you know, have to come to the forefront. Who's going to drag us through this? The other night against Newcastle, after 15 minutes, I was dying for one of our players to grab hold of the game and grab hold of the team and say, calm down. You're playing to the way these want you to play. You're rushing everything, and it's getting these going, and it's getting the crowd going. Where's the leaders who are saying, lads, settle down, play at our pace, not their pace? I think on Saturday we're going to need that. We're going to need that, you know, in spades. We're going to need characters to stand up for us, because obviously, you know, we're not going to have our first choice team. We're not going to have our first choice centre back partnership for, you know, a month. It's not the midfield makeup is going to be new again. You know, it's going to be difficult for us. But we've got to, like you just said, it's a home game. We should be throwing everything at it. And do these players understand where they are? Do they understand how critical it is? Do they understand that, you know, this is Everton Football Club? You shouldn't be in the bottom 5, you know, and, you know, never mind anything else. You should be striving for European football, striving to be the best. And I know that's not always possible. There's always teams that can be better than you, but
that should be your aim.
That should be your aim, and that only comes with it working hard, and realising that we are in the mix. We are in a mess, and we've got to start picking up points by hook or by crook. And that's the top and bottom of it.
I think if we can turn the season around. We can. We've seen teams do it before. You know, I remember, and I know people will say, well, they had different players and they had characters, and I agree, I absolutely would agree with that, but we've seen a situation where Leicester looked like they were gone and ended up going on an incredible run, stayed up and won the league the next year. Now, I'm not saying Everton will do that, of course I'm not, but what I'm saying is, sometimes in desperate situations, teams are able to just start putting runs together that pulls them clear. We've had experience of this before. You know, David Moyes took over with 9 games to go, and it looked like we were gone. To be honest, we had nothing. And he somehow managed to galvanise them enough to get them over the line, and he built from there then. We've seen other times where it was Kevin Campbell that inspired us when we were gone. You know, I remember, it's still imprinted on my brain, that Sheffield Wednesday game at home when Benito Carboni scored 2. You know, and I thought, we're down. We are gone. You know, we had nothing. We just were flat. We had absolutely nothing. And we ended up staying up. You know, Campbell got important goals. We stayed up with the last day of the season against Conte. You don't want it going anywhere near that, because obviously our last game's Arsenal away, and we don't want to go there needing something. But we have to realise it now. We've had the bounce. We've got a new manager and new coaching staff. We proved last Saturday that when the players work hard and the crowd helped them, we swept aside the Premier League side comfortably by 4-1. You know, but for everything we did well on Saturday, we did poorly at Newcastle the other night. I still think that game was a little bit of a cup final kind of feel the other night. Newcastle with their fans.
They made it a cup final,
They made it. They responded to their fans. They give the energy. And I've seen people saying, if their fans influence, only a couple, but people saying, well, hang on, if their fans influenced it and they're that good, why are they in the bottom? And it was like, because the fans haven't been like that all season. They're energised because they brought players in, had a break, and realised we were turning up where it was an opportunity to pull us right in the mire. And they took it, but they still needed an own goal. They still needed a deflection to give it to and you know, the third goal we give them was a good free kick by Trippier. So we've got to use that to our advantage, and it'll be difficult. Like you said, Leeds are a really difficult team to play against, but they're not amazing, because if we win, they're in the relegation battle with us. So we have to use that to our advantage as well. Newcastle beat Leeds, you know, last time out before they played Everton at Leeds. So it's going to be difficult. The crowd can play a huge part, because ultimately it's our club. These players, if Everton get relegated, some of them will go off to pastures new. Some of them will leave the club anyway because the contracts are up. And we'll still be there. And we've got to go again, and they'll look back and go, oh yeah, I played for Everton, but now I play for whoever,
Yeah, yeah.
and they move on. We'll be a thing of the past. But for us, it's real. It's our club. We live it. We'd have to go through all the turmoil, which we're going to have to do anyway till they get safe. Then all the summer, and then in the Championship, where I've never seen Everton in the Championship. Neither have you. Neither have loads of Evertonians watching this. Will never have seen Everton in the Championship. But this is a club who we should heed. The thing of that, these were a team that had not long been in a Champions League semi-final and a few years later got relegated because it was a case of, oh, they're too good to go down, they're too good to go down, they're too good. Then all of a sudden, you're losing games you should be winning and you're in it. So you're right, we've got to wake up right now, the players. Us as fans, we can do our bit. I still feel like the 9 home games is where we can really get safe, but Saturday it starts.
This is one of the 9 home games.
No, that's what I mean, because and it's one of the 6 that you'd look and go, very winnable, that one. But once it's played, it's gone. Yeah. It's away, it's gone, and if you haven't won, you then start going, well, there's 8. Yeah. Like now the margin are better.
And you just said it yourself, Newcastle made the other night a cup final because it was such an important game. It was about pulling the team above them, down to them, and it's exactly the same for us. Yeah. Exactly the same for us. Newcastle are a point behind us now. But if we were to beat Leeds, we'd be a point behind them, and then they're part of the mix.
And a game in hand on them.
Yeah, so they're part of the mix then, and we've got to treat it the same way. I just can't have this attitude of, well, it'll be all right because we've got loads of games left. This is one of the games. Yeah. So let's make sure that we're on it from the start.
I think the fans are going to be fantastic on Saturday. I really do. Leeds will come strong with 3,000 of them. I think our fans will be right on it. I really do. I think enough Evertonians know that it's about scrapping. And I think a lot of people enjoyed last Saturday. They enjoyed being at Goodison. They enjoyed the noise. Yeah. They enjoyed the singing, and it was fantastic. And because of that, the players really responded. They'll need it. This will be nerve-wracking this week, but if we've sat there and seen these games we've seen all this before. It's not our first rodeo, is it? No, we've seen it, but the crowd can influence it, and I think they will. And and again, it's going back 20 years now, unbelievably. But David Moyes' first game, that Fulham game, which was, we were terrible. And we came out that Fulham game, the noise, obviously he got introduced on the pitch, the noise was incredible. We got a man sent off. We got the goal at 27 seconds, and Dunk scored, made it sooner, but then Gravison got sent off and they scored. Yeah. But the crowd pulled the team through when it wasn't capable of keeping clean sheets. Yeah. It pulled the team through, and we went to Derby the week later and won, which was another tough game, and we were 4-1 up in that one. So you can't turn it, but we have to do our bit, which we absolutely will do. I know the fans are going to be unbelievable Saturday, and hopefully the manager and the coaching team, because it's their responsibility this week to come up with a way of playing against Leeds. They watched Leeds last night, which they will have done. They'll have seen that Leeds give you opportunities every game. They give you 5, 6, 7 good chances a game, but they also create a lot. So it's a way of how you can try to negate that. Carlo Ancelotti did it. Rafa Benitez did it. Everton should have won at Ellen Road earlier in the season. Yeah. We did win at Ellen Road last season. We were excellent. Leeds were excellent at Goodison. So it is a little bit of a flip, but the crowd and the players having to work together on Saturday. If we do, I'm confident we can get a win, but this is going to be a tough game. These are a good side.
Probably going to have to go back to a back 4, aren't we?
Absolutely.
I can't.
There's not going to be any Michalenko, let's be honest. He's going to be out. We've lost Mina. Are we going to go again with the 3? Leeds played 4 at the back last night. So match them up. And you know what? It might be a debut for Patterson, but at left back. Yeah. He played for Rangers. He's played 4 games, I think, for Rangers.
Or John Joe at left back.
Well, if John Joe plays left back, I want Patterson at right back. And what I'd like to see, and I'd be saying to John Joe, is don't cross the halfway line, mate. But he's up against Raphinha, who is fantastic. So just basically
do your job.
Just do the defensive job. Get rid of it. And Frank Lampard and his staff may have to sacrifice a little bit of, we're going to play through the lines because these press you like nutters. Yeah. So sometimes we might have to turn it round the corner. We might have to go long to Dom. We might have to do that because it's all about the now. If we can get safe, we can really plan for playing through the lines for next season or the last few games. Not saying give it up now, just abandon it, but I'm saying just be a little bit smarter than what we were the other night. We scored the other night and give a goal away. Can't do that at the weekend because they smell blood and go for it. So that's what we're going to have to do. And there will be changes. Obviously, we don't know how bad Damari Gray is. Hopefully, he's still got an outside chance of being in the squad.
But maybe just, if he starts on the bench and you put Richarlison into one of the wide positions, put Dom up front.
Well, at least you've got a focal point then with Dom, haven't you?
And then maybe, you know, it might be a case of Dele and Donny van der Beek come in and
with Alan
take Gomez out.
And just Shapey busy in midfield.
You know, I'm not saying, the thing about it is you could go defensively, but then defensively, you know, we had Gomez and just Alan.
Well, Gomez is terrible defensively. Yeah. So you're not losing.
So you only have one.
Putting Donny van der Beek in for Gomez, in fact, you'll get more out of Van der Beek because he gets you playing. Dele, get him in the middle and just say where he shocks. I mean, Leeds played a 4-2-3-1 last night at Villa, so they only had 2 holding midfielders as well. They had 2 sat as well in a double pivot. So if Everton could match that up, which means you've got Dele Alli then breaking, try and get in to break the lines. But the problem for me, why it didn't work the other night, the manager made mistakes the other night with his subs, I thought personally, because I thought he should have gone like for like. When Dele come on, it should have been a winger.
Quite quick, wasn't he, to make the subs?
Maybe he just thought, listen, we'll get him on and all that. And listen, it could have worked.
Worked,
but I just think what happened was we lost our shape. And I think Saturday will be really important for shape. So, you know, and then obviously you've got options off the bench then, like El Ghazi, we've not seen yet. Might be a different, just because he's different. You know, it might give us a different option, or Townsend off the bench rather than playing. So it's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough. It's just a case of, as you said, fans stepping up and hoping the players can do that too. And
well, if you're a player, Newcastle proved it. I know we disagree slightly. I don't think Newcastle are a very good side. I really don't. I don't think they've done loads the other night that proved it. But what they did, that energy they took from the stands, they were everywhere. And when we saw it, like with us to a certain extent last Saturday, when it's noisy and it's energetic and you're on the players' backs to make that tackle, they go and do it. And that can knock teams out the stride. Everton are at the worst when they're passive and they stand off and all that. And then the crowd lose interest because the players don't look interested. Got to make it hostile.
We can't afford to
We make it hostile. Leeds will give you chances because they're open. That's the way they play.
Yeah, let's just look at Leeds' top man. Obviously, Raphinha has been excellent since he joined.
Hell of a player.
You know, he'll be the kind of player that, you know, others higher up the Premier League will be admiring. Going forward.
20 appearances, 20 starts, 8 goals and 2 assists. And he averages 3 shots per game. And he scored a winner last year in this fixture.
And scored against us at Ellen Road.
And scored a great goal at Ellen Road. So, first thing is stop him shooting, block him off. Because he is a fantastic player. You know, and he's been carrying a little bit of an injury. He was doubtful, and he obviously played the whole game last night. And threw a dig at someone off the ball that missed, which would have took him out the game quite nicely for the Saturday. But he's there, and you have to cope with him. And in some respects, at least if you kind of look at it and say, right, he does this, he does that, you can plan a little bit better maybe than someone coming in, and we'll have to do that. But he's a fantastic talent, fantastic talent. Type of player I wish we'd have brought.
Well, they did got him.
They done really well.
Done well, didn't they? Got him from France. So
and he's been superb for them.
Let's just have a look at their starting 11 last time out as well.
Yeah, so see the 4-2-3-1.
Yeah,
is what Everton might match it up with. And they got Luke Ayling, Llorente, Struijk, and Dallas at the back there. So back 4 obviously, and then Koch and Glitch in the double pivot, and then it's those 4, Jack Harrison, Raphinha in wide areas, and obviously you've got Rodrigo, who is a more natural striker, but Bielsa's played him as like a number 10 really, and then obviously the pace of Daniel James, and he got himself a couple of goals obviously at Villa. His first one was a cracking goal, so it's, you know, you're gonna have to be wary of that because he is lightning. He's lightning, Daniel James. I mean, the biggest criticism people had from him was his end product. Got himself in, but he's added a couple of goals there, and he's done all right for Leeds. So, but I watched them the other week. They won at West Ham the other week. They gave up loads of chances, but they got 3 goals again. So you know that, you know, maybe you're gonna have to score a few goals because it's difficult to keep them out at the other end.
Yeah.
But ironically, I think Everton have scored more than them, or Everton have certainly conceded less than them, which we've not done that with many teams in the Premier League this season. So it's going to be a ding dong game, I imagine.
Yeah.
And they're a good side, and we have to be prepared to match them and battle and scrap with them. And if we do, we could get the win, and it'd be a huge win, because I see them winning games because of the way they play. So we've got to use this to our advantage. So there you go. Yeah, Leeds won this exact fixture 1-0 last season, following a 13-game winless run against Everton before that. It's mad, isn't it? This is the thing. Since the start of 2021, Everton have lost more home Premier League games than any other side, 12. This after having only lost 13 between 2018 and 2020. The Toffees lost their opening 2 home games of 2022, never previously losing their opening 3. Since the return to the Premier League in 2020, Leeds have lost all of their 4 away games, kicking off at 3 p.m. on a Saturday. Everton have lost each of their last 4 Premier League games, which is just scandalous, really, isn't it? Since the start of October, Everton have won fewer points than any other side in the Premier League, 6. The Toffees have won just one of their 15 league games and have kept 1 clean sheet. And that's the thing. Yeah. There's just no clean sheets anywhere. It will be Frank Lampard's first home league match in charge of Everton. And Raphinha has scored all 3 of his Premier League appearances. Hang on. I've scored in all 3 of his Premier League appearances for Leeds against Everton. Yeah. Netting the winner in this exact fixture last year. The last Leeds player to score in 4 against an opponent was Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank versus Arsenal.
There you go.
So there you go. So it's nothing we didn't know. Raphinha's brilliant. Daniel James is fast. Leeds work the socks off. Yeah. It's all stuff that you know. Bielsa never changes the way he plays. They fly at you. They leave huge holes at the back. And they're a massive headache for you because they never stop running. Last night they scored in the 9th minute of injury time at the end of the first half.
And also, though, Frank Lampard's got a little bit of needle with these, hasn't he?
He has, from Spygate when he was at Derby, with Bielsa.
They came and they were watching Derby in the trees. And
so what are you telling me? Someone's at Finch Farm now in the trees?
I don't know, I'm just saying.
Bielsa's got a throne.
Yeah, because it was they beat them, didn't he, in the semi-finals of the playoffs as well. Derby beat them and obviously got beaten in the final by Villa, wasn't it?
Villa, yeah.
So there was a little bit of a thing between them. So that'll be an interesting.
What was mad was the Bielsa done that, didn't he? And then they played them in the game, and Leeds won, made it worse. Yeah. And then obviously they had the first leg at of the playoff semi at Derby, and they won. And Leeds won again. Yeah. And it meant obviously Derby had to go to Ellen Road up against it, and they were brilliant to beat them 4-2, I think, on the night. They were brilliant, and Lampard loved it, but there was a little bit of needle. But he was laughing. He said it was. He said that, you know. Yeah, I've seen him talking about it and said he had to act a little bit more outraged than what he was. But he said it was the kind of thing that managers have probably done. He said the kind of thing Marino would have done if he could have got away with it. So, no, it's all on Saturday.
It is.
And it's just not. I'd rather the pair of us were battling for a place in Europe, put it that way, than battling to stay up.
Yeah.
I mean, do you look like, just before we finish, Leeds? Yeah. They'll be thinking they're still, you know, they've got to move away because other teams are getting closer to them.
Of course they will, but I don't know how they would feel, their fans though, because they were down for a long time, and this is only their 2nd season back. I don't know. I can't presume to say where, you know, to us it's worse, because I don't know. They're back now. They don't want to go back down there. They don't want to feel.
But they'll probably be confident that their home games with Ellen Road, with the crowd, that they'll get enough wins. And that's how we have to look at it. We have to look and go, make it hostile, make it horrible, and, you know, we'll see where we go. And if the worst came to the worst, I keep saying it, don't lose the game. Yeah. Do you know what? We need to win, but don't. You know, if Everton got a draw. A draw might be.
This loads, like there's certain games where if you pick up a point,
it might be an important.
It's going to help you because the teams below us are more likely to pick up the odd point than the odd win. Yeah, so if we can pick up the odd point and then supplement it with the odd win, then of course. But you know, I'd just like a win.
No, we need a win, because if we can get the win, we do pull Crystal Palace and Brentford and Leeds all back into it where they're all scrapping. So.
Exactly. Please. There you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Are you optimistic? Are you optimistic for the rest of the season? Let us know your thoughts in the comments don't forget, give this video a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to download the Ultimate Fan app as well. Money to be won on that. And if you want more great videos, daily live videos, join us over on Patreon. The link is in the description and it's on the screen right now. See you later.